Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the second weigh-in video. 2 weeks ago, I had a weight loss surgery. I had a duodenal switch, and I cannot believe I am 2 weeks post-op. 2 weeks ago, I had weight loss surgery. I had the duodenal switch, and I am excited that I am sharing my second week update. And I'm excited I had broke the ice with recording last week because I feel like that makes this a little easier. Tomorrow, I meet with a nutritionist, and then I progress to the next phase of the diet and will no longer be on the liquid diet, which I'm pretty excited about. Protein shakes are pretty disgusting. But if you are new here, I'm April Lauren. I'm on a weight loss journey to lose 200 pounds, and here on my YouTube, Wake Up Bright, I share all things to help you live each day a little brighter. I cannot believe that I am 2 weeks post-op, and I also can't believe that I feel as good as I do. So I am, 2 weeks in 1 day. So I have met with my surgeon. He is very happy with how the rash has healed. I don't know how much I talked about it, but I got a rash. I was allergic to the steri strips that they used over the incisions, and my body had a pretty intense inflammatory response, and it like grew and grew and grew and grew. Luckily, it didn't ever overtake my whole stomach, and now it's almost gone. And the surgeon was just saying that what's left is probably just damaged skin, and it will literally have to go through the layers of skin, like grow out essentially. So like the top layer will die, and then it'll lighten and lighten. So I don't know. I've never had an allergic reaction like that before. So we'll see how this goes. But he was happy how that's healed up. My incisions on the outside are healed up really well. Last night I did roll over, and I have some stitches on where they had to cut into a muscle or a stitch. I don't know how many stitches, but like a stitch or a couple stitches. But I rolled over, and in the middle of the night it woke me up because it hurt so bad. But I really don't have much pain left. Like, I feel like it was exponential that first week, and then there was the itching and stuff, but it just continued to disappear until, I don't know, the past couple days I can touch the spots and they don't really hurt. There's one spot, the spot over the muscle still is a little tender to touch, but I'm pretty happy with how that's going. I can also drink more than I thought I was going to be able to. It's interesting how like your expectation and then the reality, which everybody is different. And so I think they prepare you for maybe worse case scenario. But one of the questions, I had this list that I went into the surgeon with. One of them was, hey, I can like drink more than like 2 ounces over 15 minutes. Because now I could drink like, I don't know, 4 or 6 ounces over half an hour. And there's no pain involved. There's no discomfort. I'm completely fine afterwards. I'm like, am I broken? Like, why can I drink so much more all of a sudden? I guess it wasn't really all of a sudden, but he's like, you're supposed to be able to drink. But it was the sipping and not gulping and worrying about like overfilling the stomach, I feel like was so paramount in my mind, both between the informational packets, the informational sessions with the dietitian, and then also stuff I see online from other people who can't drink anything. And it's such an individual experience. So very little, I think, of what I share about my experience will apply directly to anyone. Watching what I go through won't be anything like what maybe you are going through or went through or could go through. Or if you are just watching because it's interesting, then if you're watching different people, they're all like, everybody's just so different. I am very grateful that I can drink because I don't like to be dehydrated. So I was worried about being able to drink enough, but my surgeon was like, actually, you need to drink more. He's like, summer is coming and you need to be able to drink more so that way you don't get dehydrated. And so I'm very excited. He also said that I need to start doing a dedicated like walk or other cardio, but I'm very limited on the cardio. So I can like walk on a treadmill, or I could walk. I can do like an upright bike, I guess, but I can't do anything that really engages your core, like on a row machine or any of the stuff we have in the garage. I can't do those yet, not until 6 weeks. But I need, in addition to, getting steps in, I need a 30-minute block where I am walking as hard as I can. And he's like, and it's okay if you're completely exhausted. And I talked to him about, I have a little bit of pain in that one muscle group when I walk. Like, I have to walk quite a bit. So it's not like I just walk. When I'm walking around my house, it doesn't affect me. But when I start going on longer walks, even if it's very slow, it will start pooling. I don't know. It just feels weird. But the good news is that whatever is going on there will go away when the sutures like dissipate. And the surgeon was like, used to, people would have these surgeries and those stitches would be permanent. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that would be so terrible. So I have a lot to be grateful for. Something I'm very excited about that he said is that I no longer have to take the pills. He said that if I stop taking them and then my skin reacts poorly, to start taking them again, but I don't have to take them, the pills for the allergy. So it's like an extra strength of Benadryl, but it just knocks me out. And I was sleeping so much. So this whole week I slept a ton, and that's probably why I've healed the way that I have. That's all of the sleep that I have gotten, and it's almost like forced sleep. And it's interesting though, because when I'm not sleeping, I have energy. I feel like even just before the surgery, when I would do things, everything felt like such a chore. I might have said this last week too, but it's even more so this week. Like, everything felt like if I dropped something, it's like a question, like, am I going to pick it up? Which is just wild, because why would you even think about it? If you dropped it, of course you're going to pick it up. But it's like every movement had gotten to be work, and it's not so quickly, which part of that is the amount of weight that I'm down. Even if it's mostly inflammation and things that have gone out of my body, it is still an incredible amount of weight for just 2 weeks. I was pretty happy when I went into my doctor's appointment. So I had to go upstairs, and when I walked in from outside, and then I walked through the hospital, and then I like almost went on the elevator, and it's only on the second floor. And I looked around and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not getting in the elevator with that many people. So I just turned around and found the stairs, and I went up the stairs, and it felt the same. I don't know if this makes any sense when I'm saying it, that it felt the same, but it felt the same to me as just walking flat. Like, there was no difference. There was, of course, my body's using different muscles, so there's differences, but I didn't feel the muscles working. There wasn't the level of effort of walking, which there is not a lot of walking at just my walking pace, which is slow and easy. And then just walking up the stairs, there was no like effort, noticeable effort change to where I was like, oh, and I don't feel like that was true at all. Like, I think halfway up, half the flight, first flight, because you go like half the flight and then the next to make it to the second floor. I think by the time I got to that half flight, I'd be like, oh, no, like breathe for a second. By the time I get to the top, it's like, I feel it. It's because I have like a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, oh, am I going to be out of breath now? Like, am I going to be embarrassed? Am I going to be huffing and puffing like in 2 seconds? And sometimes when I have thoughts like that, I actually hold my breath, and that just never works out very well. But I was able to do it, but there was a significant effort. And if there was another, like, let's say I had to walk to the third flight, I don't think that would happen. And like, there's been times in my life where I lived on a third floor with no elevators available. So you walked up. And that used to be like no effort change. So anyway, I am very happy to be where I'm at. And so now let's talk about my weigh-in. So I weighed in last week at 302 pounds. And this week I weighed in at 294.8 pounds. Is it 0.8? Yeah. So 294.8 pounds this week. And I am pretty excited. That brings me to 20 pounds since surgery day. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I am losing. I am expecting a stall. I wonder if it's going to happen like this week. So I've heard through the grapevine that week 3 usually brings a stall. And I wonder if it's the switching from liquids to whole foods. But time will tell. And maybe there won't be a stall, because going based off of what I see most is that when people have surgery, they're disappointed and they're like, is it normal for me not to lose after? Which I would say that's probably pretty normal for you to have an inflammatory response. And I may have touched on this last week, I can't remember, but I wonder if I just have a lot of food allergies. My little sister did a food test. I feel like I'm just repeating stuff. My little sister did a food test and she was like allergic to everything. And so I'm wondering if cutting so like no gluten, no lactose has been in my diet. And so I wonder if that's helped my inflammation, because like before surgery, I wasn't even aware of pain that I had. I just noticed now the absence of it. Wasn't like, oh, I'm so much pain, I'm going to take some medicine for this. But like the joints in my fingers, like my knuckles, my shoulders, my elbows especially ached. So it was mostly just upper body stuff. My lower body's fine, but in my hands, in my face, like I can see so much change. So I'm very happy about the no inflammation. I'm very happy with the 20 pounds down. I've done it and I don't have an anxiety about gaining it back. I think that's the best part. Well, maybe not the best. The best part is the indifference I feel to food. Like, yes, I feel hungry, especially like those mental things where you're like, ooh, you're eating that. That would be really good. But the difference between pre-surgery on the liquid diet and post-surgery on the liquid diet is like huge. Before on the liquid diet, it's like it was hard to not have something like chewy in my, like to not chew things. And then post, I might be like, ooh, that looks good, because it does look good, but there's no like pull towards actually having it. So that's been good. Yeah. So there's those things. So, well, one more thing. So like, especially if my husband's like, let's say he's making like a steak, pre-surgery in the liquid diet phase, my mouth would be like watering. Like I would want it so bad. And post, I'm like, ooh, that steak smells good and it looks good. And then I'm all like, doing whatever it is that I've been doing, and not, there's a physiological difference, and it doesn't feel like it's just mental. It feels more like my body reacts different. Even if my thoughts are similar, like I'm like, oh, that looks good. I don't have like this need to have things anymore. And that day I was super hungry and I like put 2 puddings. Like it was like a different flavor. So instead of it just being chocolate, it was like chocolate with like the white in the middle and then chocolate at the bottom. And so I was feeling hungry, and we hadn't had any. I was so tired of protein shakes, so tired of soups, so tired of all the things. And so it was just something subtly different. And so I'm like, I'm going to have 2 of these. And I put it on my plate. And then I ate like a few bites. And I'm like, really not that hungry. So like over the course of a few times, there's one medicine in capsule form and I have to take it out of the capsule and swallow it. And so I always do pudding for that. That's the main thing I do with the pudding, is I put that capsule on it and then I swallow it down. So that way the little beads aren't all in my mouth, because that's disgusting. But the doctor I was trying so hard to not have to do that. I was like, that was also one of my questions in the doctor's office. I was like, so can I just start taking that? Because I feel like I've been taking a ton of pills. Like, they had me take the horse-sized calcium pill at the hospital, and I swallowed that down, and it was very uncomfortable at first, but now it's not uncomfortable. So I'm like, can I just swallow it? And they're like, I mean, you could, but it will be better for you if you don't. And so I'm like, okay, I'll still do that. And it's not a fun time. Not a fun time. But it's what that specific pill is for is to help prevent ulcers. What they did is, I guess it's more common to get ulcers, or could be. I don't know. I don't know the why. He explained the why very well to me to where I understood when he said it. But as far as repeating it back, it's not going to happen. Sorry, I'm looking down. I'm like, what else did I write down to ask him? So I think that's everything that I wrote down to ask the doctor. The biggest thing I was worried about was that I think this speaks to part of my problem through many years, is that I worried that I was broken. I'm like, did I already ruin my pouch? I talked about this a little earlier. Why can I drink so much? I feel like I could just take in so much more than last week. And so obviously I'm broken. And I see it too on the different forums and stuff where they're questioning the amount of liquid they can take in within the context of, have I already ruined what I just had done? And I think that most of the time, all of the time even, there's that nagging intrusive thought that I am doing something to undo or to break or to cause something that will repeat past cycles. And it's interesting to see in others, and then it's interesting to have that same experience where I'm like, oh no, is it broken? But I trust my surgeon, and so when my surgeon's like, no, we want you to drink water, you're supposed to be able to take in water, then that makes me feel good. And so I don't know if it's coming through, but I just feel so much more energetic than last week. I feel just happy and motivated, and I don't know, just I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be 2 weeks post-op. I'm grateful to be 2 weeks post-op without complications. That doesn't mean that there won't be any, but praying for continued recovery and continued good things. And yeah, so this next week, I am most excited about being able to eat. So it's a soft food or pureed. I won't know exactly what that means until tomorrow. So they've said pureed and soft foods, but then it's sort of ambiguous on what that means exactly until I meet with the dietitian. They probably do it so people don't jump ahead or something like that. But I'm ready. I'm ready to have real food. Today, I have already taken a 30-minute walk, and I feel good. Again, it's that one spot was, by the time I was done, I was like, oh, did I go too fast? Did I go too hard? It hurts. But now that I've been home for a little while, it's settled down. So I feel good, and I'm grateful. How many times have I said I'm grateful in this video? A lot. Thank you for caring about me and for caring about my journey, caring about my weight loss, my health. I'm grateful for you and for your encouragement and love. And I am rooting for you with whatever you are going through. Even if I don't post, I still think about y'all and wish you well. If you haven't and you would like to keep up with me and my weight loss journey, go ahead and click the subscribe button, ding the bell so you'll be notified. And I love you. I'm grateful for you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.